Hi, I'm Aimee.
And I'm Craig, and we are currently in Australia.
Yes, but 2 years ago, we travelled around Southeast Asia.
It was a hot and sweaty time, but we kept a podcast journal of our thoughts and feelings, the run up to it, during, and the eventual finale of our trip there.
Yes.
And we thought it was lost to time, but we have found it, and we thought it would be a good time capsule to put up on our YouTube channel. So here it is, the latest of our old podcast.
Enjoy!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Sunsoaked Couple podcast. I am one of your hosts, Craig. I'm joined, as I usually am, by the never questionable, always lovely Aimee. Is that good?
Yeah, the NQAL.
What does that stand for?
Never questionable, always lovable.
Okay.
Always lovable?
Yeah, lovable. You shouldn't say it with a question mark. That should be me. We are the Sunsoaked Couple, and you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We also have a website.
Instagram.
We have an Instagram. We have a website called sunsoakedcouple.com where you can find all of those bits. Why not send us an email? sunsoakedcouple@gmail.com. I fluffed that, but everyone knows what I'm talking about, so that's fine.
It's here. Just
if you're watching the video version, it just scrolls above, so it's a constant reminder for us to plug it and for you to go there. We should have a flight vlog up on the YouTube soon, so check that out shortly. And if you are a usual subscriber, you should know that we took last week off. That was because of questionable experiences that we will let you know about next week. Got a lot of things going on, but this week we're going to focus on our travels to
Vietnam.
In English, that is Vietnam. People also call it the Nam. So
Do they? Do they call it the Nam?
Yeah. We are currently in Philippines, and before we go off to our next adventure, we thought we would take this time to reflect on Vietnam. How long were we there for?
Like 9 nights? 10
days,
9
right.
nights.
So this was just about just over a week ago, wasn't it? We were there?
It was last Friday.
So
just over.
Just over.
Just over.
So yes, we were there quite recently, so we thought, whilst it's still fresh in our minds, let's talk about it. Yes?
Yes.
So we were in Cambodia before, and as you may have known beforehand, it was hot. I don't know if we mentioned that or not.
No, never.
It was 40 plus degrees most days.
Yeah.
I was melting on the inside. Just in case you didn't know that about Cambodia, we're going to mention it again. Then we went to Vietnam, which was a bit more
Chill. A bit cooler.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did we go in Vietnam?
Da Nang.
Why Da Nang?
Why not?
Okay. Is that the decision you made for Da Nang? You were just like, go for it.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Was it like enough to do there that you could tick off your list?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to go there the most was for something that was there. Do you want me to say it, or shall I keep it?
Keep this air of vagueness and mystery among us.
Okay. It was the Barnard Hills Sunworld.
Okay. Oh, I completely forgot about that as well. Yeah.
So,
should we start off with that?
yeah, let's start off with that.
Okay.
It was about, a 45-minute drive from where we were staying.
Yeah, so we were in the very touristy part of Da Nang. It almost felt like its own separate island where all the tourists hang out compared to the rest of the country. It was about 45 minutes on our scooter. Meep, meep.
And you start... You kind of slightly uphill anyway, but then you have to get a cable car, which is the world's longest cable car. Basically, it's almost like
You're an incline?
you start at the bottom and you just go up fully vertically, but you go up to the top of the mountain hill thing. I'm really bad at explaining this today.
You're in a cable car, and it's really, really long.
Yes, it's so high that you're in amongst the clouds, like super high.
The angle, are you talking about the angles? You start off at one angle, and then it just gets steeper and steeper?
Yeah, like you start at the bottom, and you basically go...
Up and up.
Up at an angle.
And then get steeper and
yeah,
steeper.
Whereas, like, when you think of the cable car at the O2, for example, you kind of... You go up a little bit, and then you go along, and then you go down. This one is, like, fully up. Like, it just keeps going.
And you think, oh, okay. And then it just gets steeper and steeper.
Yeah.
And more trees, and you go higher and higher up this mountain.
And you can't see where you came from. You can't see where you're going.
It is literally like you go through the clouds to the other side.
It was so cloudy.
Have you ever been higher than that?
Apart from when I've been on a plane.
Oh yes. I think.
But on land, no.
Yeah. We haven't gone up any mountains yet.
Not those type of mountains. The Marble Mountains, we've done that.
But they're still not as high. Like, and then when you get to the top of the Barnard Hills, what's waiting for you? Yeah. The cable car is not the thing, but
although
it
is really cool, and I do 100% recommend. But so at the top of this mountain hill thing it's called Sunworld, and so you pay 30. It's about £30, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
£30 each. You get the cable car. You get use of like the amusement rides that are up there. It's like a real French vibe. Like it looks like you're in a little French town or like village. And
there's hotels up there, restaurants, there's
shops,
random instruments being played at different times, different shows, dances.
Yeah, it was kind of like a less exciting Disney, more exciting than Chessington.
Wow, throwing shade at Chessington.
Well, actually, no, because I love Chessington.
It's a world of adventures.
Like the Bubble Workshop, which is no longer Bubble Workshop. It's like Buffalo.
The greatest Gruffalo.
Gruffalo.
The greatest tragedy to ever struck Chessington was the getting rid of the Bubble.
I know.
Bubble Works.
Yeah, the rides weren't that. They had the swings that go round and you get faster and you go at weird angles and stuff. Then there was the one where you go up and it drops.
The rides themselves weren't exactly for thrill seekers. They were more family friendly. Yeah,
but they were still quite fun. Like the 4D.
They had arcade experiences.
Yeah, 4D thing, and then a full immersive thing where you're like sat on a saddle with a gun in your hand, and you've got to like kill all the baddies whilst the saddle's moving. Like that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was weird because it's like you mount a horse. And then you go in this weird game and you shoot everything. The 4D one, which we experienced, was more of a like Wipeout or Pod Racer type experience.
Where you just sit.
You're sitting, you're being thrown around, and then water streams at you. And what made that weird is that there was only 2 other people in it with us.
Yeah.
And then it was
just me like, oh, oh.
Very good.
And then laughing as well. Like.
Yeah. And so they had typical arcade amusements. Which they were all unlocked, which was quite nice.
Yeah, so like we did it wasn't a dance mat, it was like an iToy.
Kinect?
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was like a webcam looks at you and you have to dance in time. The problem with that, however, is that they don't show you any of the moves up front. So your character moves, so just say, I do that. You have to just do it straight away without being shown before. So you just dance like that, and then you would have to do it without knowing what you're doing. And then
in the end, we were just like making it up, and we were still doing really well, even though we were just like throwing our arms around.
When in doubt, flail around.
Yeah.
They had bumper cars, which was strangely popular.
Yeah, the queue was long.
So you go up the mountain, and the amusements and the bumper cars are underground, which is quite funny because you go all the way up the mountain to see the sights and the sounds, and then all of a sudden a lot of it's underneath. But from a ride's perspective,
like racing, like there's the racing simulators and
like
there was a
Daytona,
there was a
Walking Dead
VR thing as well.
VR.
The only ones that weren't included were the stalls where you like have to throw balls at cans to knock them over and you win a prize,
or like get a ball in a bucket.
Yeah, and you win a prize every time, but it just wasn't included in the package that we went for because I mean, how would we get like a gigantic unicorn home? That was really and I saw people winning them as well. Yeah, so, I mean, you could probably just take that on the plane.
Yeah. They had good enough food as well. Like they had buffets and Italian foods and stuff like that.
We had
pizza. No, pasta.
We had pasta. I definitely had pasta.
I definitely had pasta.
I just remember waiting so long for them to take our order.
The waiting staff were terrible.
But the food was nice.
Yeah.
And then also up there is, like you have to get on another cable car. There's a few different sets of cable cars, and I think they're actually still expanding. So they've got more cable car units like in place. So you can. At the top of the mountain is where this like French vibes and amusements is, and then you get on the cable car and you go slightly down, and that's where the golden bridge is, which is the ones with the hands with the golden bridge that goes across.
So do the hands. That's the hands. That's the bridge. So like if you're watching the video version, that is a good representation.
It's an awful representation.
Well then maybe a picture will go up showing that representation.
Sure. And which was really, really impressive. Again, you could not see anything. You could not see the bottom of the mountain. It was just thick cloud, which made it even cooler. It was just really, really cool.
It's hard to state because the photos don't do it justice. But you look down, and all you can see is some trees poking out of clouds.
Yeah.
And you just know I am just too high for my brain to comprehend right now.
I think the only problem with the bridge was that it was so busy, and no one seems to like have any sort of manners, like, or anything. Like, if you're trying to get, like, we're dodging out of everyone's photos, trying to be nice, like the good Brits we are, but like everyone else just seemed to like walk in front or duck, which isn't helpful because they're still in the photo.
That's always fun because you look back on those photos and like
there's just someone
someone crouching down beside you trying to smile. Like it looks like they're just up to no good. But yeah, as far as like amusements go, like it's just from a like logistics point of view, this is on a mountain and they're getting all the food and all the resources up there, and it's just.
I think
crazy.
The only downside to the whole place, apart from it being incredibly busy, but what isn't, is it was just really badly signposted and the maps weren't helpful. Do you remember?
I think we saw one map the whole...
No, but we also had a pull-out map and it
someone asked us for directions.
And
we just got it and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. The map had keys, but the keys didn't make sense. Like, it would say, oh, it's the Louvre Lounge, and you're like,
yeah, so instead of
what
saying,
is that? Like, is that a restaurant? Is that a like?
And it would name the cable cars, but didn't exactly tell you where they took you.
No.
Why would I want to know the name of the Bleu cable car? I want to know where it goes. You know?
Yeah, but overall, I think we got there and
had a nice time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth the money. You got to make. I feel like with every theme park is you've. Well, not with this one actually. Most theme parks, I feel like, you know most of the attractions and you need to figure out a plan as to what you need to hit and make the most of your time. Here, it's not exactly big enough to do that. So you just go on the cable car, look at the amusements, go to the bridge, job done, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing, remember when we were trying to get the tickets at the beginning and the woman was saying no prize games.
No prize games. Yeah.
But that's not what I could hear. And I asked her a fair few times and I felt so bad. And her colleague that was stood with her was just laughing her head off. And then in the end, she just pointed to a few words and it was literally like no prize games. And I was like, oh, I'm
because
so
it was
sorry.
like, just to say, she's £30 a ticket, and you're like, oh, £30 a ticket, and then she goes, no prize games on these tickets, and you're like, what tickets? And then she says, no prize games on these tickets that are £30, and you go, so 2 tickets £30? And that's when her colleague was just like, oh my god.
I'm really bad at accents.
Doing them, listening to them.
Yeah, and I do try, but I just had everything else I understood. No prize games. Nah.
Why would you even think of prize games, though? You know.
I know, because I didn't know there was prize games. This is why I was so confused. But
Barney Hills is definitely something I would recommend.
Yeah.
It's
even if you just do the cable car, I think it's worth it. Just to see it, because as you go up, you see you're literally on top of like a forest, and then there's water fountains, and there's all kinds of stuff. It's just nature, y'all. It's just so good.
The drive to get there though is about 25 minutes of just a long road with signposts of Barney Hills.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Disneyland and Chessington, you have those sort of like roads that lead up, but there's just nothing except people watering the grass and these signs for Barney Hills. Very unique, I would say.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only thing we did in Vietnam.
No, we did loads. We went to the Marble Mountains, which is basically mountains made of marble.
How did they come up with that name?
And let's just say it was a hot day.
Oh.
And there's a lot of walking.
Very surprised.
A lot of stairs.
Wow.
And then we found out there was a lift. And if we'd have known that, I definitely would have taken the lift. The next day, my legs were so sore. But
the
it was
mountain
cool.
itself is in the middle of like a town.
Yeah, it's just like
you just park and then go up. Yeah.
Someone just slammed the door. So there's so many different like
caves
type thing. There was the big cave with the big Buddha, but not that big Buddha, but it was a big Buddha.
Yeah, there was multiple like religious statues around everywhere. There was people praying. There was caves for you to go into. You could climb through.
Yeah, that was cool.
The one I remember most is like it's probably as big as like a hallway as such of like a hall or something.
Yeah, or like a slide. Like how big a slide is, like an average park slide.
Yeah.
Quite a narrow gap.
You go in there and you think, can you? And then you just think, well, there's nothing's telling me I can't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look that safe to climb, but you do it, and then you pop your head out, and then you see handrails, so you're just like, oh, okay, I guess I can.
Yeah.
So.
Then you walk just a little bit further up, and then you're like on the top of this particular part of the mountain. I don't think it was at the very top, was it? There was another part, but it had like really nice views, and yeah, it was a little bit rocky up there, like actual rocks. There was definitely no health and safety involved in the making of some of this stuff, but
it's weird, isn't it? Because like you don't want to take away too much from nature.
No, of course not.
But then also you need to make it safe.
Yeah.
There was one rock where you could climb up it very gingerly. It didn't feel safe at all, and you can just look over and you can just see the stalls down below, like literally.
Oh yeah,
like
I did not enjoy that at all.
You could have sneezed and fell off it, like a good size of a building, that sort of thing. And then we went to the tallest one and took some breathtaking photos.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
So steep. It almost feels like they should make slides to go down them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to go down the mountain on a slide.
They should do that. Barna Hills, I hope you're listening.
No, we're at Marble Mountains.
I know about Barna Hills.
Barna
as well.
Hills too, okay.
Water slide, there you go.
Yeah, but one you don't get wet in.
A non-wet water slide.
They should turn it into a water park. You're right. Barna Hills Sunworld. Not a lot of sun in Sunworld, also, just saying. But yeah, Marble Mountains was really, really cool.
The fun thing afterwards is that, so as you lead up to the Marble Mountains, for some strange reason, all the shops are selling marble statues and marble jewellery and marble this and marble that and just marble, marble, marble. And then we parked in front of a marble shop and they really wanted us to buy some marble stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did you have any interest in any marble stuff?
No, not... Like, I really liked it, but where we sold all of our staff to come travelling, like, we know that we don't need all that stuff. I still have a few little sentimental things that I picked up from my trips in the past, but I feel like now, like, what we take from this is, like, photos, memories, magnets, like that type of stuff, rather than like little knickknacks, because I just feel like it takes up a lot of space. If you think about it, you could end up having like shelves of just little marble figurines and stuff.
Well, like as well, like he was showing me these marble bracelets because I've got a few fabric bracelets. I didn't really have any interest in marble. As soon as I start walking away, he's like slashing prices vigorously, like trying to get me to buy some stuff. Yeah. Which is power for the cause. We've had it happen in quite a few places. Yeah. And
don't get me wrong though, they were nice. Like they were hand sculpted by her husband.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah, there was like little Buddhas, elephants, other stuff. Forgotten.
Yeah.
And then obviously jewellery, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and it was all good stuff, but
you don't need it. Don't want it.
And I did feel bad because, like, this is how they make a living, but
that's how they get their money. That's how they live.
Yeah.
So that was a marble mountain.
That was a marble mountain. And
did you want to move on to the night market?
Yeah, we can talk about the one by the Dragon Bridge.
Every weekend they activate this Dragon Bridge because the bridge is connecting to the island, and it's got like a dragon's tail going up and down throughout the bridge. One side is the head. Yeah. And when I say activate, I mean fire.
At 9 p.m. Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, it shoots out fire. And then after it's done that a few times, it shoots out a load of water. And it's really cool. They shut off the road. There's loads of people around. And the first time we went, we were sort of on the bridge, sort of just in front of the head. But because the way that the head sat, you could just see the fire coming out of it. It wasn't as impressive kind of thing. And then on the second time we went a bit further back so that we could actually see that it was a dragon with fire coming out of it, and that looked a lot cooler, didn't it?
So the first time we parked in the night market. The second time you didn't want to park there because you didn't want to have the faff of it again. Yeah. So you got off the bike whilst I had to try and find a parking space, as it just gets more and more crowded, more and more full up. Eventually, on the second time, I parked under the bridge for no cost. I don't know how I got away with that. But before I did that, I parked where I thought would be an easy, like, get in and get out sort of scenario. As I parked up, I could see the parking attendant who just like, oh, there you go, there's your ticket, go away. He started parking people in front of the bike, so it wouldn't have been an easy getaway.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not going to park here. So I just say no, and I give him the ticket back, and then he just says, okay.
He was trying to charge
He was
you for
trying to-
like just parking there for like
3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And then he said like twice, like, money. And I'm like, no, I'm not parking here. And then he just gave up and walked off.
yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah.
I do say.
But it was cool, and like next to the Dragon Bridge is a night market that basically has a load of little stalls selling like knickknacks
they have
and
good selection there.
yeah, bracelets, magnets, bags, like all kinds of stuff, and then a food section with like a bunch of street food, and I think we had
Veggie tacos.
we had tacos.
And what made... So you think of veggie tacos.
Oh.
You've fallen in love with tacos, haven't you?
Yes,
Recently?
since we've come travelling, it's everywhere is soft tacos, and I had never had a soft taco before. I didn't even... Actually, that's a lie. I had a soft taco. You know the old El Paso kits where they're like little boats? They are terrible. Sorry, old El Paso.
Get it sorted.
They're not good. These ones are like little thin tortillas, and yeah, it was just...
Down them. But then, because this guy mostly had meat, the vegetable ones wasn't just vegetables, it was fries and vegetables, which was delicious. And you can pick your own marinade. I think I had barbecue and you had salsa? Or was it the other way around?
It was like French fries with sweet corn, cucumber, tomato chunks.
But yeah, it was delicious.
It was.
It was like, you look at it and just like, this is not what you'd think it would be, but it was great. But there was obviously Da Nang, lots of fish.
Oh, it
lots
was a
of
very fishy
like octopus and just dried fish and various smells, shall we say?
Yeah.
But the variety in all the stalls in that market was quite interesting. Compared to the other market we went to.
Yeah, so the other market was in Hoi An, which is like...
How?
Yeah, something like that. It's basically just like an old town, and it's got...
The river runs through.
Yeah, so you like park up and there's like a little river, which is nice, like there's cute little bridges and stuff, and then everyone's doing little like gondola rides with like lit up lanterns and things, and you can light a candle, put it in a thing. But the thing is, there was just so many people on these gondola rides that most of the river was just like full. Like it wasn't picturesque or anything. It was just...
It was another time of that influencer central.
Yeah, everyone
out
trying
on
to
the
get a
gondola.
good pic, yeah.
Whilst like either the gondola rider or their partner is trying to steer whilst they're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because like if you stand above the water, not on the gondola, it just looks so photogenic.
Yeah.
If you were there in the boat, you can just tell, I've just got some random Larry behind me, you know.
Yeah. It was really nice to look, but it wasn't for us to go on. But as well as that, there's like loads of lanterns, and it's a very lit up place. It's really like cutesy,
Colourful.
Colourful. But we found that a lot of the stores were just selling the same stuff, which I think that's when we bought the bracelet, the black and green one.
Yeah, so we've tried to get a bracelet for every place we've been to, and in Vietnam for some reason it was a bit more difficult because of the like nature of them being a harbour town and, you know, catching fish and stuff. All of the bracelets were in seashells and stuff like that.
So the stuff that we like is these like thinner fabric.
Yeah.
The designs as well. I think the thickest one is this one. Is only because it's got like a little thicker bit in the middle.
And it was given to you by
a monk.
Yeah.
Also, ignore my little... Oh my god, I can't... My rash I've got quite a few different rashes. You probably
It's
can't
now
see.
turning into vlogs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm reacting to something.
Yeah, wow, that is starting to creep up, isn't it? So all the stalls there were quite similar. We found someone that was doing bracelets, so we thought that was the time to get that.
Well, actually, a few were doing bracelets, but remember we went and asked at each one, and then we went back to the first one that was the cheapest.
Highest quality. But yeah, so you go down and like you just see these people selling the same magnets, the same notepads, the same whatever, and then we walked a good hour and a half through all these stalls and stuff, didn't we?
And then we got to the actual shops as well.
Yeah. Crocs. So you just see like all these independent shops, and then all of a sudden just this sign saying Crocs coming soon. So strange.
Yeah.
So strange. As it got later to the night and stuff like that, you saw the Vietnamese style hats, and you.
I was umming and ahhing because they look really cool and they're traditional Vietnamese hats. So I thought, maybe I'll get one, but it just.
You were thinking logistically.
Yeah, just trying to think like you got nowhere to really. Like, how would I get it home? Well, I'd have to wear it on my head on the plane.
Get some weird looks.
Yeah, probably. And then what would I do with it at home? I'm not going to wear it at home.
Hang it up on the wall.
I did think about hanging it up on the wall, but...
And then one day you'd just be like, well, I'm not going to wear this ever again.
Yeah, so I decided against it, but...
And as we walked away, the shop owner was shouting at you, come back here, I can give you a good price.
And I'm sure she could have, but no amount of money would have made me... Like, I don't want to be wasteful. Like, I like the idea of the hat, and I think it would look cool hung up on a wall, but...
Not for you.
Not for me.
Not for you this time.
Not this time. Maybe one day.
So, also in Vietnam was the Lady Buddha.
Yes, the Lady Buddha. Now, that was pretty cool as well, because we could see it. So where our hotel was, we could actually see the Buddha, like, across the sea, because the land curves round like that. So we can see the Lady Buddha looking out towards us, and it's lit up at night. And we drove there, and it was free. So we had like wander around.
We park up.
Monkeys! There were monkeys where we parked.
These monkeys did not like people.
They did not like people, and they also did not like their bikes.
Yeah, so you park up, and then the first thing we see is like this monkey staring at himself in one of the wing mirrors, and then just smacking it, trying to break it off. That was funny.
When we came back, luckily we were okay, but others had their wing mirrors
just tore off.
Yeah.
Very funny indeed.
Yeah, wow.
Well, what I would say as well, I've probably mentioned this already, but just the price of petrol is just ridiculously cheap compared to back at home in the UK.
It's like a few pounds to fill up.
Yeah. Even though it's a small tank of a bike, it's still just something where you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Just why? So you see the monkeys, the violent monkeys, and then you go up a lot of the stairs. If you keep going straight, you see this very pristine garden with all the Buddha statues on the right and left hand side.
And the bonsai trees.
Bonsai trees.
Massive bonsai trees. I've never seen one so
which
big.
Leads you to this big temple room where you can pray.
Yeah.
My praying experience was not that great because the woman behind me did not turn her phone off.
It just kept ringing.
And she didn't do anything about it.
No. And then people would also stand by the door and just talk really, really loudly. So it's hard to get in the zone of...
The prayer zone.
The prayer zone.
Yeah. But I still enjoyed it regardless.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Lady Buddha.
The Lady Buddha, obviously not as big as the Big Buddha in Thailand, which you would have heard us speak about in the previous episode.
Is the Big Buddha the one that was laying down, or is that the laying Buddha?
No, that was the... Is that the sleeping Buddha?
The sleeping Buddha.
No, the laying down Buddha? I don't know. That's in Bangkok.
Okay. We've seen a lot of Buddhas.
Yeah, we have.
This one was feminine, though.
This one was a Lady Buddha. And...
Well done, women. You've done it. Equality for all, finally.
Yeah, we're really there.
It's just really tall.
Yeah, it's just really tall. You can go in and there's a monk there, and you can pray again, and just admire the views. Admire the views from the Lady Buddha. You can't go up the Lady Buddha, but on the grounds you can see the sea. You can see across to basically where our hotel is, and yeah, it was really, really nice. And then we drove further. So it was on the Sontra Peninsula. So we drove further, and the views of the sea and everything was really, really cool. Yeah,
it was just one road along the coastal grounds.
Yeah.
And you can just go down there, and you got the breeze, and you see the sea, and it's just breathtaking.
And you can see locals as well, just like having their dinner. Like they've just parked up on their bikes and they've just sat together having their dinner
on a cliff edge.
Yeah,
like
it was.
Field.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Something calming about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and for us overall, I feel like Vietnam was a place where we could relax and then still be able to see stuff.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of like. There wasn't loads to do, as in, like, rushed off your feet every day.
But there was still stuff we didn't get to do.
Oh, yeah. But that's because we chose... How it's always been for us is, like, slow travel, meaning, like, if we don't get to everything, we'll get to it next time, because I don't want to spend my entire time travelling just always being tired. And it's easily done for me.
Yeah, and I don't think that's... You want to enjoy yourself, and if you're like, okay, we've done this, now we've got to move to this, now we've got to move to that, that doesn't give you enough chance to reflect and enjoy the moment itself.
No, definitely not.
The food in Vietnam, there was great selection, wasn't there?
Yeah.
We
had nice Mexican, we had nice pizza at a New York pizza place.
There was a vegetarian place just down the road from us.
Yeah.
But why didn't we... It was nearly all tofu, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with tofu, but I just don't want it every night.
Yeah, I agree.
And, like, also, as you guys are probably aware, is that we really love our Mexican food. Pizzas, pasta, that is us. And although we do, like, try other foods where we can... Like, you can't go wrong with foods that you know and love.
Speaking of that, I am looking forward to having a baked jacket potato with beans on it.
Roast dinner.
One day again. Yeah, you keep talking about your roast dinner.
Roast dinner. As soon as I'm home, I'm having a roast dinner. I'm finding the closest Toby Carvery. And I'm all you can eat.
Just going to shut up and pour the gravy down my gullet.
But, yeah, Vietnam. I would go back to Da Nang again, like in a heartbeat. In fact, we've already discussed how when we go back to Vietnam, that we'd start at the top and work our way down the coast, and then that way we can do Da Nang again.
Yeah, we didn't even mention like the beaches / nightclubs. The nightclubs go out to the beaches, so on the beaches there's just heavy bass and lights everywhere. Yeah.
And to be fair, we did sit down in one on, like, it's like a big sofa on the beach, and literally directly in front of us was just sand and then sea, and we had a couple of cocktails. And
then as well, like, you go further down and there's like the traditional beach where like you have sun loungers and there's food stalls and just tourism everywhere. Yeah. And it was really nice.
Yeah.
Just really nice.
It was really nice.
Yeah. Recommend a scooter or
definitely.
A bike.
If you've never ridden a moped before, they are quite heavy. And so I would definitely recommend taking your time.
The turning takes some getting used to.
The turning does, yeah. But I would say that Da Nang is probably the best place to learn because it's relatively quiet, but they also have better like traffic light systems and traffic control compared to other places we've been to. I mean, it's still a little all over the place, but it is better. And also they have loads of like little side roads, and that's when I started to feel the most comfortable. And I'm worried that our washing that's on the line is going to blow off any minute. But yeah, so I definitely would recommend, if you are going, try a bike, and always wear your helmet, because that's when I started to feel a lot more comfortable, and I started riding the bike more, and to having you on the back as well. Again, I practiced by myself a few times in Thailand, just like slowly testing it. I don't think I tried. Oh, in Cambodia, did the like dirt track from the main road to
very
our
bumpy dirt track.
Yeah, from the main road to our room, and then in Vietnam I was like, right, now's the time, and I did proper main road driving, and I probably am a little bit more when I brake. It's so weird because some bikes are more sensitive than others, and so
the brakes are worn or something.
Yeah, so I might have been a little bit too hard with the brakes, but we were safe.
It didn't crash.
We didn't have any issues on open roads and stuff, that especially that long road from Tabarna Hills. Mm-hmm. That was just a long road. We were on there for 15 kilometres or something like that, and I did that on the way back, and then it started raining. But yeah, the bike is so handy,
and everywhere
it's so cheap as well. Yeah. Everybody has one, and if also, I think one of the things that we should mention is if someone is beeping at you, it's not because you've annoyed them or you've done something wrong. It's purely just little beep to say I'm behind you, or I'm
making you aware,
I'm overtaking you, or I'm here, don't just pull out in front of me, type of thing. So I think it's just
different way of communicating.
Whereas back home it's beep, get out of my way, beep.
Yeah, that's what it was like when in the car with you when you were beeping. Although your beeps were never matching your tone, so it'd be like beep. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't like that.
No, great driver.
I do have some road rage sometimes, but not on a bike.
No,
I'm just whatever.
Yeah, and that's the way you got to be. Chill. Yeah. So that was Vietnam.
Yeah.
And do you need to go to bed now?
I'm just tired thinking about all that we've done.
All that we've done, yeah. And that was just Vietnam.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be talking about the Philippines, where our pal Rachel joins us, but she will not be on the podcast with us. But yeah, Philippines is a different vibe altogether from Vietnam, and we will let you know about that next week.
Oh, yes.
Anything we should mention before we go?
I don't think so.
No, we have interesting developments happening, which we will mention soon.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Till next time.
I be Aimee.
I be Craig.
And we're gonna go and save our washing from the balcony.
Bye.